Welcome back, prisoners. You are still incarcerated in Fox's Ghetto Prison, Oxygen Not Included, episode 15? Pretty sure it's 15. 15-ish, something like that. What are we doing today? Well, as I told you, I've got a second file. We'll take a look at it. Fox's Hyperbolic Asteroid. Looks like this is from the anthill view. And I am using that to prototype some ideas so that I could do them in this more efficiently and I'll have fewer failures. Eventually, this will probably outpace the other one and I'll be forced a little more into the unknown. But that's one of my strategies for trying to keep the show flowing. Right now, we're just cleaning up. In this episode, I've got a lot of projects, actually, and I need to actually begin those. I want to start on smart storage and solid transport, because I have some ways that we can improve some things here. I also want to... there's so many things that we need to do at the moment. One thing at a time, though. If we overload our guys with objectives... okay, so our smooth hatch has... So this is what the adult one... Quite a bit less cute than the others, but yes, our stone hatch has hatched. We're just gonna demolish these because I'm pretty sure we're gonna be making enough food to not need it anymore. It's gonna strand them here, so I guess we'll even have to demolish that, which is kind of a pain. Gotta rebuild it all, but at the same time, I don't care. I just want to do this as quickly as possible. Which this might actually not be the quickest way to do it. This might actually be technically an inefficient way to do it. But we're repurposing this room. I need another one of these hatcheries. Everyone's getting stranded. I'm gonna be a little patient. I'm gonna see if they can... Okay, good, they freed him. We will want these rebuilt, because we are still using these. Oh wait, what am I doing? Don't use copper, use gold. Oh, we hardly have any gold. We'll use gold anyways. Copper, gold is kind of the one you primarily want to use. Not at first, because you won't have any, but once you have access to gold, you're going to want to use gold instead of copper. The reason for that is because, one, gold is actually more plentiful in terms of the overall map. Oops. We don't need these, actually. Let's deconstruct those. Gold is overall more plentiful on the map, once you actually can get into, like, the swamp biomes, for example. But the other reason is because certain metals are not usable in certain operations. Like, if we want to make exosuits, which are basically spacesuits, they need to be made out of both reed fiber and refined metal, but they won't accept gold. You need stuff that's more like... I'm trying to do too many things at once. You need things like, what's it called, iron, refined iron, or you need stuff like refined copper, but you can't, it won't do gold. But this is going to be metal ore. All of these are fine. These are also going to be smooth hatch. Yes, smooth. Let's make one of the feeders copper and the other feeder gold. This will be gold, and this one will be copper. I don't like how I was adding those in. Okay, that's fine. Okay, what do we get? Hatches? Sure, we'll take them. Got a bunch of these little, like, critter guys over here. Okay, so here's what we're going to be adding. I told you I got an idea. So we're going to be adding, we can push the O button to flip this around. This is something that I've never experimented with until recently. And let me tell you, I was a fool to not experiment with these. This is a autoloader. And what this is going to do is, well, I guess it's going to auto-load things. We do need to have someone who has knowledge of mechatronics, though. Let's make sure we do have someone who's a mechatronics expert. Yes, a mechatronics engineer. Do we only have one mechatronics engineer? Okay, so we only have one mechatronics engineer. That's a little annoying. So that basically, the only person who's going to be able to construct these is Joe Davis, because Joe Davis is the only one who has knowledge of mechatronics. Let me increase the priority of this to like 7. And it'll also need electricity, so let's go ahead and add those. This part needs its wiring back. Or does it? Oh, that's the problem. So this is an example where I'm going to use gold for the wiring. And I'm going to use gold because gold is more plentiful in the grand scheme of things. Like, if you think about it, there are way more swampy areas, and swampy areas are where you find the gold. Yes, they're in smaller packets, but more of the map is covered in these swampy biomes, so you're going to collect more gold in the long run. And because gold can't be used for certain materials... Let me see, I imagine it does... Oh, it does have electricity. Okay, so we have our auto sweeper here. What is this full of? It's full of copper, gold, and iron. Let's make sure... Okay, so the reason that's not working is because we apparently have not designated smooth. Let's do with copper. Copper. This one's going to be gold. Actually, we're just going to do gold and only gold. There we go. You see that? And he just ate some, and so there you go. He just pooped out 135 kilograms of refined gold. Now, to give you an idea, when he ate that and pooped that out, this would give me 50 kilograms. Now, this would technically be faster, but this guy's more efficient. He turns more of the gold ore into refined gold at a rate of 75%. This gives me only 50%, so I lose more of the gold ore in the process. I do get sand. It turns into basically half gold, half sand. But this is just the beginning of it. We can do it to all of these, but we're not going to stop there. Oh, no, no. Well, though we can't. We are stopping there because we need the research for... we need this right here. So, oh, we're almost done, though. Solid transport. Oh, you're going to get to see it then. Okay, this needs to go. I want this done, like, now. I'm getting him... Gosh darn it. Priority. Now, I'm going to pause, and I'm going to turn this into a maximum priority sweep. The reason I'm doing it on a maximum priority is I don't want the water to pool down here and then be like, oh no, the water is like, it's too much, we can't mop it up. Okay, why is it still... Okay, there we go. Okay, now we can... This is going to be our power plant once it's actually built. Let's actually start working on that as well while that's researching. So let's go ahead and build this down here. Let's build this down here. And then I'm going to need 3 extra spaces, so let's go like this. I will set down the... Actually, I don't need to set the floor there, that's fine. Oh, I need a 4th space, actually. So just like that. So this area here is going to be exposed. It doesn't have the abyssalite to protect it, so I'm going to go and specifically add in 2 insulated tiles specifically made out of igneous rock because it's slow heating. It's got like a high thermal insulator, and we're gonna just put these in there like that. Maybe I'll even put one on the other side too, so they'll go in from that direction. And that'll basically help here, because this is the reason. If we go to the properties of abyssalite, thermal conductivity is 0.000%. This means it's a perfect insulator. It conducts no heat at all, period. You know, I don't know how realistic that is, but it serves the purpose of the game, allowing there to be like these crazy cold areas. You could have an ice area, and down here it could be like the bottom of the map where there's like magma channels. And yeah, these abyssalite would actually prevent the magma channels from melting the ice biome, and it would prevent the ice biome from cooling the magma channels. So whenever we strip these away, we have to add new insulation in it if our goal is to maintain the temperature between them. I'm going to temporarily put these here as scaffolding. Let's build this out. What kind of material is this? This sedimentary rock. Let's build this out of sedimentary rock. The reason for that is simply because if they need to pick up a material to build it, it's right over here. So the way this is going to work is I now need platforms right here. I need 3 platforms each. Go down like this. Okay, so this one needs to be a pole, just so that they can get up and down. This can go away. This needs to be a ladder so they can climb back up. This needs to be completely clear. This space here, we just need a complete throughput there. These can go away. Like, we don't need these anymore. We can clean these up. Whoa, 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 whoa. We can clean these up. Let's add one of these here so they can mop that. Let's mop this. Okay, I believe we got our research done. So yes, we now have solid transport, so let's go ahead and pause. I'll go at super slow speed. What we need now are these here, these conveyor loaders. I'm going to use some of our gold. Okay, what direction do I want to go? This direction is fine. So I'm going to put this right here. This is a conveyor loader. Going to use up a lot of our metal to build this. We're going to eat into our refined copper now, which is kind of annoying, but what can you do? I want it to get built. Next, we're going to add electricity to each of them. Okay, apparently we don't have electricity to this area. Let's power these all. Oh, that one doesn't need it. Well, it will need it eventually, but not right now. I just want on the ones with the hatches. Speed back up. Now we're going to build a conveyor system like this. Fortunately, this is made out of regular metal ore. We have plenty of metal ore. And what I'm going to do is... okay. I'm going to have this spit the materials out right here. Where do I want to dump the materials off? I want it to be kind of dumped in the middle of the base. Maybe, yeah, down here. And now I'm going to put a conveyor chute and another auto sweeper right here. Well, okay, we're going to rearrange it a little bit then, because some of this is in the way. Let's cut this. Unfortunately, they haven't built it yet, so I'm able to do that. We can always deconstruct this and put it somewhere else if I want. Actually, hold up a second. Let me cut this. Let me just let them build this for a moment. Okay, never mind. I know what to do. Okay. I'm going to deconstruct these like that, and I'm going to just build a... I'm just going to temporarily build a system that goes just right here. Just like that. Then I'm going to build another one of those there. I'm going to build another receiver right here. Hook it up to the system like that. Then we're going to get another conveyor system like this. And it's going to go right here. There. Okay, that'll do it. That'll be just fine. I'm going to increase the priority on this, just because I want this to be done sooner rather than later. Just so that, especially because so we can see it. This is going to be interesting. I could fix all the priorities later on. Okay, that's fine. So while they're doing that, I can also start working over here. So this actually is made out of the wrong material. This should all be insulative material, so we kind of screwed that up. We didn't screw it up that bad, though. I don't think we're actually going to need doors. I don't think doors are going to be... Doors are not going to be a thing. I don't think we need any of this either. Let's repanel these. It might not be too important to actually have all these heat insulated on second thought, but we can, okay, they're still working on this. Okay, so let's get started on the new power system. First thing we're going to do is begin constructing heavy watt wires. Heavy watt wires cannot go through walls. That's their first disadvantage. In exchange for not being able to go through walls, they give you something else. They can handle immense electrical charge. As you know, the typical wire, or hopefully you know, the typical wire will overload after a certain amount of voltage. It can only handle, 1,000 watts before it completely overloads. And that's a problem. You can upgrade the wires to high conductivity wires that can hold double the load, but another problem is that it would be nice if our power plants could help each other out. If we could have just one power system, and that's what this is going to do. It's going to allow us to unify it, because sometimes one power system is working hard, the other one's taking it easy, and you're like, well, why can't this one give that one a hand, or give this one give that one a hand? And it's because you can't join the circuits together. If you join the circuits together, you will have a problem. So what we're going to do is build a power transformer system. And this is how we run heavy watt wire through walls. As I said, heavy watt wire cannot actually travel through walls, so we have to make a heavy watt joint plate. And now what we're going to do is, this is going to keep following outwards like this. Now, when we do this, initially, it's going to short circuit the entire system. And our base is basically going to black out. It's not going to black out so much as it's going to... Get the fertilizer. Blackout's probably not the correct term. What's going to happen is... let's see if our conveyor belt system is done. Oh yeah, our conveyor belt system is done. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set these... So this... Right now, the auto sweeper is just doing the standard stuff. It's taking the stuff out of the storage bin and putting it into here, but that's because we haven't given our loader a filter. So each loader, first we're going to filter critter eggs. And I'm going to copy that over. And then I'm going to filter coal. Because that's what they're pooping out. They're pooping coals. Where is it? Consumable ore. Where is it? Cultivatable soil, metal ore, miscellaneous. Where? Oh, it was up higher. Specifically coal. Now I will add that to all of them. Now this one shouldn't get any. These guys only make refined metal. So I mean, I can take that off. Let's add... Where is refined metal to this one specifically? So they're all doing critter eggs, and now let's see. Let's put this on a higher priority. Put you on a 7. Oh, look at that! Look at that! So now it's going to grab all the coal and just start cleaning it out there, and it's grabbing the eggs. We can see it. Well, we can't see it in the background. It's dropping it off right here. Oh, interesting, isn't it? However, we don't want the eggs to be here because the eggs will clog up the system, and we don't want the system to get clogged up, so we're going to kick you out, and we're going to put these on smooth hatch eggs. Incubate, we don't have any, but we're just going to leave it on that. And what else do we got? Let's check how many critters we got in here. We got 5, 7 is what we're looking for. That's the amount that we can support in each one. Now what I can do here is I can designate specifically which eggs I want removed. And so I want all of the regular hatch eggs out of here. Where is it? A, B, C, D. Hatch eggs. Let's see how many of these we got. We got 5 in here. Yeah, we'll do that as well. We'll designate stone hatchling eggs, PQRS, there we go. But not... Actually, we'll do all the... We're going to do all the eggs. None of that matters. So now it's going to grab these and put these in our conveyor belt system, because this is the diabolical machine, as I said. Oh, this is unreachable. I was wondering, like, why aren't they building this? Okay, so we need to make this a maximum priority build. And that's a maximum priority build. Here we go. There we go. Alright, so now what's going to happen is it's going to carry the eggs through our diabolical machine and just automatically dump them into the water. And in the water, they still count as incubating, so they'll hatch out of the eggs, and then they'll just drown and turn into meat, and then we'll eat them. But because I have these set to smooth hatches, and they don't hatch immediately, they could still fish out any of the ones that I want and put them back in here. You see that? And that means I can still populate these and get them up to 7 each. And these ones down here, we won't have to worry about it. They'll just automatically die. They'll automatically transform into meat. And then we'll just cook them in the barbecue. And then it keeps this area clean. It sweeps up all the garbage. Look at that. See, it's sweeping up all of the coal, just getting the coal into one nice place. It loads these back in so our guys don't have to load them. The reason we need to clean up the eggs is, you can see here, the critters, there's only 1 in here. Well, 7 is the limit for this building size. 8 is the biggest limit, but the eggs count towards the limit. So the eggs need to constantly be removed, and that gets really tedious. It gets really annoying having to remove those eggs. So that's the advantage to that system, and it doesn't take any manpower. It doesn't even take that much electricity either, since the system isn't on constantly. Now over here, here's what we're gonna do. We need power transformers. And push O to flip them around. I'm gonna build them out of gold. Flip it around. We want, you see how there's 2 plugs? I want the bigger plug facing me. Oh, this is in the way. It looks like we will need to panel these because I can't run the wire through the floor. Let's start building more of these power transformers. Flip these around like that. Put one on each floor. Like so. Now for our heavy watt wire. Now this is why I told you we needed this third one, because the heavy watt wire is going to go up here like this, and it's going to plug into every one of these power transformers in the big socket. The big socket is for... Oh, there we go. Wondering why. So the big socket, so basically we need one to climb up and down, one for this, and actually I think I will panel these. The part of the reason we're going to panel these is because these have really ugly decor. And what I mean by that is if we just push the decor button, it's super ugly. Like, the duplicates think that these heavy watt wires are just the most hideous thing ever. It's like, might as well be Medusa wires. You know, anyone who stares at them long enough turns to stone. And what this is also doing is, this is uniting the power. So this is got the output is 600 watts. The output is 600 watts. It's going to combine this into 1200 watts and any additional ones we add on to it. But each of these power transformers are going to let us basically create a splitter. We're going to be able to split the electricity off so that each one can feed out its individual 100 watts. So it combines the power, and then it splits the electricity off through this system. Now I'll show you what it's going to look like. Running out of gold, which is kind of annoying. So we're going to pull it out of these little baby ones, out of like the smaller socket. Now, we can cross the heavy watt bridge wire, but we don't want to do that because we don't want it to be connected to the heavy watt wire. We want to avoid it. So we're going to use a bridge on every one of these. As I said, we're going to get a little bit of overload. In fact, I might just shut all of these off temporarily. Let's make this priority 9. We're going to shut these off because it's just going to overload the system. We'll just have to work without electricity for a little while. Okay. And now we can look up over here. Our base has a lot of stuff. It's going to take a little while. The most annoying thing is the steam that we're going to have to try to get through. But let's begin. All we got to do is just start running these wires like this. We're going to run out of... What's going crazy? Turning like spaghetti. It's initially... It's not as efficient resource-wise at first. Or it's never going to be as resource efficient as... Let's all start clipping these wires as well. Clip this. Clip these. Oh, our slicksters are up. So here's what the slicksters look like. These are the baby forms. These guys eat carbon dioxide, and you can already see it down here. They poop crude oil. They poop crude oil. So this is one of the best uses for carbon dioxide. You feed it to them and they poop out oil, and as you can imagine, crude oil is quite useful. They don't produce crude oil very efficiently compared to just getting oil from the ground. But they're one of the best uses for disposing carbon dioxide and still getting some kind of useful product out of it. So hopefully you're starting to see that even though it does use more metal, at first this seems less efficient. Look how organized this is going to become. Each floor is basically going to have its own power transformer. Basically, we're going to invest metal, and here's the way, like I said, here's how it works. Before we did all this junk, this was one system that could handle 100 watts. This is a system that could handle 100 watts. This made 600 watts. This made 600 watts. With this system, we make 1200 watts on a single line, and this is splitting it off, so this one can handle 100 watts, 1000 watts. This can handle 1000 watts. This can handle 1000 watts. All of these can handle 1000 watts now, and we can just keep going up and down the base until we fully powered everything. This is obviously in the way. This is kind of a problem. But you get the idea of how it's going to work. I wonder if we actually need this one. But this one can wait. I'm going to cancel this one. We'll just leave this one on standby. Like so. And we're just going to continue building upwards. So the next one would be built 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be right here. Let me see. Okay, let's reactivate these. So that we basically what I'm going to start looking for now is where is our electricity overloading so that we can start rewiring everything. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make some auto sweepers here so that we can load up the coal automatically. We need a coal storage bin here, probably 2. And I'm going to probably remove this one. This is a lot of battery, especially now that we're combining the batteries together. And I'm probably going to move this as well. I'm going to scoot this over. Right here. Build 2 of these right here. Connect this to the system right there. Let's make this priority 6 consumable ore. Oh, somebody leave it at priority 5. Consumable ore. As long as it's above our normal storage. Where's consumable? Here it is. Coal. Copy settings. Our hatch must have eaten some things because we have a little bit of extra. Let's rearrange. So we kind of screwed up our priorities a bit, so let's look around. I'll talk a little more about the slicksters in a bit. Once we messed around with those priorities, though, I want to make sure that those aren't getting screwed up. Oh, looks like electricity is so far working pretty good. We got our meat creation system down here. And once these guys get filled up, they're going to become a very efficient source of meat, which is why, remember, we demolished this area earlier. They're going to become very efficient, and this guy over here is going to be cooking a ton. Where's our cooking area? He's going to be making a ton of barbecue. A ton of it. And barbecue is a really good food if we go to consumables. Barbecue is, where's barbecue at? Barbecue, look at it, all the way over here. +8 morale. Very, much higher quality than a lot of the other foods we can make. Frostbun +4. Barbecue +8. Has a delightful smoky after. Might be a little waterlogged, but you know. What can you do? Okay, so we need to shut this door, preferably without... Wait. Never mind, don't do that. Leave it unopened for now. We need... I forgot they go to sleep at night. So, here's the thing about these guys. Let's go to our dictionary. So if you want slicksters, the first thing you need to know about them, you can't wrangle them. They're too slippery. That's why it was important to get them in their egg form, because we could put their eggs here and then have it ready for them when they hatch. But here's what the adult one looks like. Here's what's livable range, 95 degrees to 320 degrees. That's their livable range. That means if their body temperature drops below 95 degrees, they will freeze to death. This thing's, can we see its body temperature? We can't see its body temperature. Well, can we see its body temperature? Properties. Temperature, 179 degrees. So its body temperature is fine. They freeze to death very easily, since your base is probably not going to be 95 degrees. Let's go ahead and build another transformer over here. As you can see, we are just devouring our metals right now. Let's connect the heavy wire. You need a ton of metal. I go through metal very quickly with these new builds. Let's see how our load is. So this one has... The other thing this does is this prevents any overload. Another thing this transformer does is... See how it says 1,000 joules? Well, this thing is never... The other thing, this transformer is also a limiter. It will not allow the circuit to go over 1,000. It just won't permit it. So if you have... This one here has a total load of almost 4,000 watts. It won't allow 4,000 watts to run at the same time. It will just be like, nope, you only get 1,000. It basically forces you to stay within it. And that means we'll have to play around with the wattage a little bit. Let's just take this. So let's see how our load looks. So the low one here, this one's fine. It's at 960. This one hardly has anything hooked up to it. So this would encourage us to move some machinery to it. So for example, we could move probably both of these down here. Stations. Where is it? Skill scrubber. And refinement. The rock crusher. Who's scalding? What are you doing in there? Okay, I'm going to take this off of, no access. No one is allowed in here. Fortunately, we have this trapped. It's made out of granite instead of igneous rock, but... Oh well. This one's gonna have to kind of curve around it. Like this, and this is what I mean by that. Like, we can't go inside there, so we're just gonna go around it like this. And connect it over here. Let's cut some of these wires off of each other so they're not inhabiting the same system. So this one here is going to have a lot of demand on it because this one's going to be connected to all of these up here. Though at the same time, a lot of these are not in use. Like, for example, we can trim all of these off. So when you're building your area, like, just try to think of it. Also remember that these are super ugly, and it's going to lower your morale. They can't pass through walls, though. That's another thing to keep in mind. Is see how super ugly in here, not ugly over here, though. It's because it can't pass through walls. It can pass through doors, though, except for the heavy-duty doors. So these guys have already grown into their adult form. Are they tame yet? No, they're not tame. Have they been tamed at all? Okay, yeah, they've been groomed. Grooming them is how you tame them. Making sure that the smooth hatches and smooth hatchlings go in here. These guys still like, oh, look at that. Efficient. Efficient. Let me just click some of these to get the exclamation points off before it drives me nuts. Oh yeah, let's keep an eye on our wire system to make sure everything's looking nice. This is fine. Let's trim these off. Actually, I don't need to trim that off. We need to connect these up. And let's see. So this system, yeah, like I said, this one has a maximum wattage of 3 kilowatts. Fortunately, they're not using 3 kilowatts simultaneously, because a lot of it's coming from, like, these, like, all of these, but these are on very briefly. These are the only thing that are on constantly, you know, together they're like, what, 520-ish, so they're like half a kilowatt, basically. This is not on at all, this is not on at all. So even though this is up to 3,000, and we would like to split it with even more power transformers, right now it's not a big deal. And so now, like I said, these two, that's why these, see how these batteries are all in sync? They're all in sync, and look at this, see, this thing is feeding it the coal, so now our duplicates don't even need to load it up. And that's good, because it would be nice if they didn't have to see this room too often, just because of how hideous this room is. Let's also remove this door, and we're going to replace them with these heavy-duty doors. These doors are actually capable of blocking the negative decor effects. If you forget why decor is important, the average decor of the day, if they spend, let's say they spend their time around going all over the place, the average decor value that they spend in second by second determines either a morale bonus or a morale penalty. Like, let's look at skills. Great hall, standard washroom. Does anyone have a... Okay, here we go. If we go, so interest skills, great hall, standard, meal, showered, last cycle's decor, average value, average as in like, he feels the decor is average. He's getting 3 morale from having average decor. Now that could be bad. The person who's got to worry about it are our ranchers because they got to go into the super ugly area. Let's see, his last cycle's decor, mediocre, only +1. So we want to make sure we kind of pretty up the rest of the base so that the average time that they spend around the place is positive. So for example, one thing we could do is add some lighting in here. Let's go ahead and continue using gold. Because I would like to conserve my copper, since like I said, that can be used for other things. 1, 2 off, like so. Let's add in some, where is it? Furniture, I'll add in some lights. These are just ways that we can make the place look a little nicer. And now that we have these nice power transformers, just adding clean wires, each with their own system, we don't have to worry about, make sure we're using gold. Adds a little decor, and then another, we can also go a little further by adding corner molding. And these are just decorative pieces that go on the roof. They have no other purpose, but they're gonna boost they're gonna give us a little more decor, and the roof has no other use. Like, we can't fit anything else up there. So we can, oh, wait. Let's make sure we chose the correct material to build it out of. Okay, furniture. Let's make sure we're building it out of granite. Why granite? Okay, we were building it out of granite. Granite has a 20% decor bonus. Sandstone has a 10%, so we definitely want granite. Press O to flip them around. And just build that across like that. All the granite's right here anyways, so it shouldn't take them too long. But yeah, that's going to be hitting cycle 131, so that's going to be the end of this episode. But yeah, so there you go. You got to see my crazy diabolical machine, which is allows us to load this up, allows us to get, keep the area clean. We dump the eggs here temporarily, and then this sends them on to our pool, where there's, like, let's see how, look how many eggs are here. Oh, looks like my alarm is going off. Shut up, phone. Gotta empty out the recycling bin according to my alarm. So we've got a bunch of eggs down here. Hatchling eggs, whatnot. They hatch. They, turns out they can't breathe underwater, but that's okay, because then they get to become beautiful barbecue for the excellent bonus morale +8 cooked meat of a defeated critter. It has a delightfully smoky aftertaste. It's a lot better than eggs, too. Eggs aren't bad, but this is even better. And as I said, some of these guys in particular, if you need to shoot these guys, they have a ton of health because their metal diet gives them, like, I guess, kind of a metallic skin. They're very hard to kill. So that's pretty neat. We got that system there. This one could be a good screenshot like this. I'm not sure what I'll use. But then we also have our transformer. Maybe I'll use the power transformers as, let me get a nice little screenshot here with our power transformers, potentially. But yeah, that's how you could see it. You could see that there's a lot of systems in the game. We can trim these. I'm still playing the game. I'm supposed to be, like, putting an end to it, but that's the problem with this game. Once you get started, it's over. Game over, man. Once you get started with this game. But, okay. But yeah, actually, it's looking pretty good. if we get to the point where these can't keep up with the demand, we can always add in more. We could add in additional coal generators, and because we can combine them now, we could have the power of 4 of them, which would be 2,400 watts. We could build more batteries. Like, we can just attach all of that to this system. That's the beauty of this system. We can just wire everything to this system, and we don't have to worry about it overloading, because we can split it off. Now, and the only one that I think we have to worry about overloading is the top one, but even that's not true, because this power transformer limits the output to 1,000. Now, if that's not good enough for you, you're like, that stinks, I need more power. There is the large transformer, which we need more. This one needs refined metals instead of raw metals. This one can output up to 4 kilowatts, and then you can use the conductive wire here, which this wire uses refined metals instead of raw metals, which is why it's much more expensive, but it allows a safe output of 2,000 kilowatts, or 2,000 kilowatts, so it's double the strength of these regular wires, so you could definitely upgrade things further, but right now, just keeping things, I mean, I love how organized the wires look. I love how organized it just is. It just keeps everything really nice and neat looking, and the reason I built it over here is to try to kind of keep it away from the base so that the decor penalties don't interfere too much. See, you can see here, now that we've added these metal doors, it's blocking that ugly decor bonus, keeping it confined to there. The only thing we're having trouble with is this right here. What we might try to do is build the Slickster Ranch down here, and then build another floor, because we need a floor for the oil to accumulate. Oh, that's already a problem right here. This could leak out. We don't want that to happen. So we could go one more floor down. I'll just need to make sure that we can keep the heat. Let's see the temperature here. So 92, that's a little too low, but we could just move a space heater down here. So that might be what we do, and that way, if we go back to the decor penalties... So even though this is a mesh tile, it's containing the decor penalties, so that's probably what we're going to do. We can't capture these slicksters without a trap, though, and I don't have the technology for a trap, so we'll have to actually, like, slowly deconstruct these and try to, like, get them to fall down. So that's an idea we can do to get the ugly morale, which is going to interfere with our ranchers. And just this area over here, they're just kind of screwed. Hopefully they just won't have to travel over here too frequently. And if they do, they'll just be here briefly. And we're going to beautify the rest of the prison so that it balances. It actually won't balance out. We should have enough decor everywhere else to make everything else better. At any rate, that is the end of this episode. Let me know, did you find this interesting? You could see the advancements coming in using, like, hey, you want to check out? Why don't we save? I'll show you my other base real quick. To my hyperbolic asteroid. You can see the layout over there, so you can understand. We've caught up decently to this base over here, but I'm always trying. This is kind of a throwaway save. Once I get far enough, I just throw this save out and start over again with new ideas. But let me unpause it just so it kind of wakes up. Wake up. Okay, that's how I know it woke up. So in this one thing I practiced was this. This was all a slime biome. Basically from about right here onwards, and all the way down here was all a slime biome. And I was like, well, what's an efficient way that I could just carve up this slime biome in one fell stroke? And then I built my power... this is my prototype power relay. I built it further away so that the decor bonuses would be further away from my base over here. And once again, you could see the way the power system is working. It's just feeding these long lines through the base. And you'll also notice that because I already knew I was going to build this power converter, I built the base more horizontal than vertical in order to better accommodate the wires. Over here, you can see we've got some artwork and whatnot. We've got just a slightly different design. Here is the design I used over on this one. You can see that I decided to use these for storage, because like I said, by containing them here, you can do anything you want with these, basically. And over here, we've got 7... Oh, sorry, look how much food I've got. I've got half... I've got like 500,000 kilocalories. Look how many eggs are here. Oh, man, those are all eggs. It's because this system, they never get cramped. Cramped occurs, in this case, when they're over 7. So over here, there's 6, and so that means this is a hatchery. So I've got 1 queued up here, and so it fishes them out of the water, and when he hatches, then he'll be added into this one. So every now and then I just got to look to see what their status is. And because you're getting the eggs out of them so frequently, it means they don't get the cramped state, and cramped makes them not reproduce. If they are cramped, their reproduction drops to 0%. And so that's the system that we got over there. And as you can see, this is all I've got from mealwood. I'm basically off of mealwood. These guys are the ones who are eating the mealwood if we go here. I'm still harvesting these, but honestly, I could just stop harvesting these just like that, because we got more than enough food. We've got, let's look at the breakdown. 200,000 kilocalories from barbecue, 100,000 from frost buns, 100,000 from omelets, and then we got some raw materials, 12,000 in meat, bristleberry, cooked fish, meal lice, etc. And so this is where I prototype my ideas before I take them into the main game. Over here we found look how hot this is. Oh, okay, so it's cooled down a bit. When I first opened this geyser up, because this is not a cool steam vent, this is a regular steam vent, it was outputting 700-degree steam. Over here, this is a oil geyser. It's being contained in this area. Like, despite the fact that it is 479 degrees in here, 500 degrees over there, this is containing the heat pretty well. It's getting pretty hot, though. I'm worried that the heat is eventually going to start leaking out of here. But this is still like negative 20 degrees. It's still pretty cold in here. And that's because I built this insulated tile out of... I mean, first it's insulated, but thermal conductivity is 0.011. Not quite perfect, but very, very good. It's containing the heat in there. And... yeah, so this is where I experiment, and then I bring my experiments over. I learned this build from the internet. I went to the Wikipedia and I saw some builds. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good idea over there. And I decided to try them out, bring them on over. At any rate, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. Like this episode, like this video, if it was entertaining, subscribe for future Oxygen Not Included content. And of course, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.